Yesterday was that they played their strongest side and still lost, which will be a worry. But they've got a big game midweek. I genuinely think Arsenal in midweek can do it. I think they can go to Paris Saint-Germain, and I've been there with. Actually, I went there with David Beckham once to watch Real Madrid play there, and I watched Manchester United there as well, and seeing that you can go there, they get quite nervous, in that stadium. There's such an expectation about PSG and them winning the Champions League, and they build themselves up. It'll be a hostile atmosphere for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, and obviously if PSG score, it'll continue to be hostile because they'll be right at it. However, if you can get a goal, which I think Arsenal definitely can, whether it be from a set piece or from a counter-attack or a bit of brilliance, whatever it might be, I just think you can see and feel it change in that stadium. And I've been there when it's happened. So I think Arsenal are in with a shout in midweek. I do think they'll finish the job and finish second in the league, to answer your question. Arsenal in midweek, it's a very, very big game for Arsenal, that. I think it obviously is a season-defining game. And can be career-defining, those types of games. Coming back from 1-0 behind away from home against PSG is something that ultimately, with what they've done in the quarter-final against Real Madrid, will be...
I think we started the game well. I think we controlled pretty much everything until they scored, and then we lost the control, we lost the rhythm, and it was a bit too wild, and they got to play on their strengths, and then they're a good team, so... frustrating one. We have to stick together and be strong together now and get ready for a big game.
Set piece is usually such a strength for Arsenal this season. Just in terms of defending them, it's not been great.
I don't know. Something we have to improve for the next game already. As I said, it's not acceptable, to lose a game like this at this level. So. Something we have to do better.
Speaking of the momentum, just going into the PSG game, we've kind of lost a bit now. What do we need to kind of keep that?
Yeah, obviously we wanted to come here today, and get a win, get a good performance, and get that momentum back before a big game. But at the same time, you have to use all the disappointment, all the anger and the frustration you feel, and create energy and get ready for Wednesday. So we have to use that now, and as I said, just be strong together and be ready for a massive game. As I said, we know what we play for, and we're going to be ready for that.
Speaking about that massive game, obviously some players have come up with huge performances and moments to get you through to the semi-finals. Does it feel like you as captain, you feel that extra responsibility to maybe provide a big moment, goal, assist like you did today, to get that win at PSG?
That's what we all want, For me personally as well, I want to affect the game as much as possible and be decisive, and I think that goes for all the players, to be fair. And we've showed that now in many of the games already in the Champions League, that we're ready, and as I said, we're going to be ready for Wednesday.
A lot of people focusing on Thomas perhaps coming back into midfield, and we saw today a little bit about the freedom that maybe gives you and Declan to combine for the goal. Is that going to be a big difference from the first leg?
Yeah, Thomas is a great player, and great to have him behind you. It always gives you that protection, and he's so strong in the duels and good on the ball as well. So it's going to be a nice boost for us to have him in that game.
And can you kind of sum up what the mood will be like in the camp ahead of this game? I mean,
obviously now we're frustrated, disappointed with the game. As I said, we wanted to come here today and win. We know what we're still playing for in the league as well. It was important for us to win today. But as I said, we have to use this in a positive and good way to be ready. As I said, stick together, use that frustration, use that anger, and give everything on Wednesday.
And do you have a message for the Arsenal fans? I mean, everyone connected with the club ahead of this game on Wednesday. I mean, this is a huge moment.
Yeah, I think, as I said, we all know what we're playing for. It's a massive game, and we're one game away, from the final. So I think they've been amazing the whole season, and we've seen them in the away games already in the Champions League, how much they give us. So just grateful for that support, and hopefully they bring the noise to Paris now.
Can I ask you about your foot? Are you okay? You got a good bit of whack there.
I think it's okay. It was just a hit, so it's a bit sore, but it's fine.
If you could go into some detail of how you're going to rest or recover, prepare over the next 24 hours, Sunday and Monday. Do you completely clear your mind of football, or is everything you'll be doing is focused on Wednesday?
I think it's a bit mixed. I think you have to analyze your performance and have a think what you could have done better. And as a team, with 2 goals we conceded, we have to look at that, and improve it. But at the same time, I think it's important to switch switch off for one day and to get new energy before a massive game. So yeah, it's a combination, I would say.
Can I ask just how you switch off?
It's being home with my family.
Ian Wright accuses Arsenal of not being up for it against Bournemouth. Ian Wright delivers brutal Arsenal verdict after dismal 2-1 loss to Bournemouth. Arsenal have gone from fighting for the Premier League title to now having to look over their shoulders for a top 5 finish in wake of Saturday's 2-1 loss to Bournemouth. The Gunners took the lead in the first half through Declan Rice, who was one of the best players for the home side on the day. However, Arsenal were then caught out by Antoine Semenyo's long throw-in, which enabled Dean Huijsen to head home in the 67th minute. Then, in the 75th minute, Bournemouth sealed their first ever away win at Arsenal when Evanilson bundled in following a corner. Ian Wright did not pull any punches when he gave his verdict on the Gunners after the final whistle went on such a disappointing defeat. Ian Wright accuses Arsenal of not being up for it against Bournemouth. Wright was impressed by how Arsenal had played in the first half, pleasing them on how focused they were despite such a huge game next week at PSG. At halftime, Wright told Premier League Productions, "I am pleased with the way we're playing simply because there is a massive game coming next week and you have to be focused on this one. It's no surprise that Declan Rice has had such an influence on the game, and you can imagine when Marino is there how dangerous they can be. It's a strange game because we know what's coming, but Bournemouth are still quite dangerous." However, Wright was extremely disappointed with Arsenal at full time, accusing them of not being up for the fight against the Cherries. Unfortunately, like I mentioned about Palace, Everton, Brentford, the draws, there are games that if they had won, they would be a little bit more comfortable now, said Wright. But having to still try and qualify for the Champions League and be in the semi-finals, and to raise yourself again to earn the right to win, I don't think we were up for it today. We didn't earn the right to win it. Arsenal have now played 35 games and they sit second on 67 points, but Manchester City are just 3 points behind, having played the same amount of games. Meanwhile, Newcastle United are 4th on 62 points, while Chelsea and Nottingham Forest are 5th and 6th respectively on 60 points, but all three have played 34 games. With City having 9 more points to play for and Newcastle, Chelsea and Forest having 12 more points to play for, Arsenal need to refocus quickly on the league. Otherwise, they risk losing their grip on second and, if things go really bad, there's the risk they could slip out of the top 5 altogether. The Gunners, who have already lost the Premier League title race, will now need to start looking over their shoulders for the teams that are after their second-place spot. Declan Rice opened the scoring for Arsenal in the 34th minute, but Dean Huijsen equalized on 67 minutes before Evanilson netted Bournemouth's winner on 75 minutes. A number of Arsenal fans were stunned by one Bournemouth player in particular, with some urging the Gunners to sign him and others expecting Mikel Arteta will want him.